you, and thank you. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for being here, be part of us in this press conference. In this era of globalization, money is an important element because without money, selling and trading cannot be done. At this point, there are some people who have to work overtime to support themselves. As we know, the cost of living in Malaysia is increasing day by day. The students need to find various ways to earn money to further their studies. It's not surprising with the rising living costs in Malaysia. Becoming an entrepreneur while studying has become a usual for high institution students. Money is an important thing in our life. For the student, they need a lot of money to pay for college, food, drink, bills, and others. According to Belati 2011, student entrepreneur are young adults who set up new businesses to market possibilities using the understanding they obtain through their university research by transforming expertise into income, generating new products and services using innovative technology. Apart from doing a small business, some students work during weekend as a part-timer at a restaurant or shop, a dispatch boy, a delivery boy, and a Grab driver. Audience, every study has their own methodology. So we are. To explain more about the methodology, I will pass the stage to Badrulmunir.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Thank you. So, for the methodology, we use the questionnaire to collect the data for our survey. For the questionnaire, we have 5 sections of questions. We ask them about demography of respondent, about the general knowledge, the challenges, the benefit, and their future planning for being entrepreneurship. For the location, we choose shop, stall, and dining hall in UiTM Cawangan Perak. This is because of at dining hall we can meet many type of students, so we can get their response for our survey. For the stall and shop, we choose this because of at there we can meet the student who put their food and stuff for sale and generate their income. For our target student is we do this survey only for degree student in UiTM Cawangan Perak. And for the time, we choose during the lunchtime, during the evening and night. We choose lunch because at the lunchtime we can meet many students at the dining hall, and evening and night we can meet the students who put their food or stuff at the stall and shop. That's all from me, and to explain about the data analysis, I will pass the stage to Miss Fadzlin Najwa. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Okay, so right now I will be present about the data analysis that we have been surveyed to the degree students in UiTM Perak branch. Okay, firstly, our survey have questions about the willingness of the students in becoming an entrepreneur while studying at universities. From the 100 survey that we have, from the 100 students that we have surveyed, 7% and 43% of the students say that they are strongly agree with the questions. In my opinion, this is maybe because they have a really deep passion in doing the business. Next, this is maybe because they have financial problems that need them to find other sources of money in order to support their students' life. Okay, next, 34% of the students somewhat agree with the questions, and another 10% of the students somewhat disagree. This is because their feelings are mixed, whereby sometimes they feel that they are willing to become an entrepreneur, and sometimes they feel that they are unwilling to become an entrepreneur while studying at universities. Okay, last but not least, only 4% and 2% of the students disagree and strongly disagree with the questions. The reason is maybe because due to some problems that they face in their life, or maybe they have to carry out the business in order to complete their studies and obtain the flying colors. Okay, next we have asked the students regarding on the reasons why they are being an entrepreneur while studying at universities. From the 100 students that we have surveyed, 31% and 37% of the students strongly agree with the questions. In my opinion, this is maybe because the students realize that they need some experience and skills for their future. Next, 22% of the students somewhat agree with the questions. This is probably because in addition to earn some money in doing business, they also want to gain experience and improving their skills. Another 5% of the students somewhat disagree. This is maybe because their main objective of becoming an entrepreneur is not to gain experience and improving their skills. Lastly, there are only 5% of the students that disagree, and no students that strongly disagree with the questions. The reason is maybe they're becoming an entrepreneur and doing the business is just only to earn an extra money in order to overcome their financial problem.
Hello everyone, thank you and thank you to Miss Fadzlin Najwa. So in our next section in questionnaire is challenges becoming an entrepreneur while studying. So the first question is, I have difficulties in balancing time because I have to study and doing business at the same time. Based on the survey that has been done, there are 38% of the respondents that agree with the question given. In my opinion, this is because they do not have a proper time management. A proper time management is very important in our life. Then, there are 25% and 30% of the respondents that are somewhat agree and strongly agree with the question. Then, 14% of the respondents that are somewhat disagree because they thought they did not have any problems in balancing their time, even they need to study and doing business at the same time. Lastly, there are 7% and 3% of the respondents that disagree and strongly disagree. Perhaps this is because they have an efficient time in dividing their time. Next question is, I face stress and no leisure time because I am busy with my study and business. Based on the survey that has been done, there are 23% of the respondents that are somewhat agree and somewhat disagree with the question. In my opinion, it depends on student emotion. As we know, emotion play a very important role in the life. Next, there are 21% and 90% of the respondents that are agreeing and disagreeing. The students that are agree with the question because they feel they are unable to control their emotion and let the emotion control them. While the students that are disagree because they do not have any problem, even they face stress and do not mind if no leisure time for them. Lastly, there are a few groups of the respondents that are strongly agree and strongly disagree with 10% and 4% respectively.
Thank you. Thank you. So, in our survey, we asked the respondent about the benefit by being the entrepreneur while studying. As you can see, this is a data analysis for the question. I can get the opportunities to learn the knowledge by being entrepreneur. As we can see in this pie, there is 15% out of 100 respondents is strongly agree with our question. In my opinion, this group is a group they want to be the successful entrepreneur in their future life. Next, we have 41% out of 100 respondents is agree with our question. This is because of this group, they know that they can get the opportunities to learn the knowledge about entrepreneur by being entrepreneur. Besides of that, we also have 35% out of 100 respondents somewhat agree, and 6% out of 100 respondents is somewhat disagree with our question. I can conclude this to this group, they did not know by being entrepreneur they can get the opportunities to learn the knowledge about entrepreneurship. And lastly, we have 2% of the respondent is strongly agree, and only 1% is disagree with our question. This is because of this group did not explore the benefit being the entrepreneur while study. So we proceed to the next slide. For this, we ask the respondent about I can become independent by being entrepreneur. As we can see, there is 19% out of 100 respondents is strongly agree with our question. This is because of this group is always hustle to get their own money pocket without asking from their parents. And next is 41% out of 100 respondents is agree with our question. This group is a group which they gain the income by being business, and sometimes they ask their parents for money to fulfill their financial. Besides of that, we also have 31% out of 100 respondents is somewhat agree with our question, and 5% out of 100 respondents is somewhat disagree with our question. In my opinion, this group is a group that ask their parents for the money because of their business did not gain the much profit to cover their financial. And lastly, we have 3% out of respondents is disagree, and only 1% out of 100 respondents is strongly disagree with us. What can I say is this group is a group which always ask their parents the money because of the business that they do cannot give them much income, or maybe they get the income but the income is not enough for their cost. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Badrulmunir. In our survey, we ask questions in section, and this is the last section, which is the future planning. One of the question is, I want to have established company because I want to expand my business. From the 100 respondents that we surveyed, 1% of the respondent is strongly disagree and 1% is disagree. In my opinion, this is maybe because they're doing part-time businesses only to support their financial during study in higher education instead of being an entrepreneur in future. Next, 24% of the students are somewhat agree with this question, and another 11% from the students are somewhat disagree. Maybe this is because their feeling are mixed, whereby to continue their business or stop when having a permanent job. The next is 37% of them agree and 26% strongly agree with the question. This show that they have planning for their future and they have setting up their goals. The other question we asked in the questionnaire is, I want to create and offer chances to the young entrepreneur. And based on our survey, the highest group is agree with 36% of the 100 respondents. This is because maybe they see the struggle of being an entrepreneur at a young age, so they are willing to help. The second highest group is strongly agree with 38% of the 100 respondents, and somewhat agree with 24%. We can conclude that they really want to help in creating and offering chances to young entrepreneurs in future. There is only 6% of the respondents are somewhat disagree, followed by 3% of disagree and 2% of strongly disagree. The last three groups are about disagreeing with the question. This is because of maybe the respondent feel entrepreneur is not in their focus area, so they do not planning for the future and they don't want to invest to others. In our context are young entrepreneurs. So that's all our data analysis about being entrepreneur while studying. In conclusion, it is good for students to become an entrepreneur while studying because it has many advantages of becoming an entrepreneur, such as they will get more experiences that will help them in the future. Those experiences are very useful because nowadays many employers want to recruit workers that have many experience. Then it also can enhance or guide students to develop their personal features such as responsibilities, time management, and others. Yet, they have to focus on the main responsibility of a student, which is study. Study first. So we move to the next session, which is Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, I have one question to Miss Fadzlin. So my question is, what is the most factor that leads students to become an entrepreneur while studying? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your questions. Okay, for the answer, in my opinion, the most important factor that lead the students to become an entrepreneur while studying is money. As nowadays, in this modern era, everything needs money, such as the books, college fees, assignments, printing costs, and also the foods. Thank you.
I want to ask the question to Miss Atiqah. The question is, why do you think nowadays students do not take the opportunity to become entrepreneur while studying? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Miss. So the answer for your question is, in my opinion, some students did not take the opportunity to become an entrepreneur while studying because they are not interested to be a business-related person, or they do not know how to manage their time wisely. Or maybe they already have enough money that they got from their parents or loans to support themselves in the university. Thank you.
Okay, so that's all from us. So I would like to thank all of you for lending your ears for the press conference session today. So again, thank you.